I used to think that being better is easier than being different, but now I don't think so anymore. I think being meaningfully different is actually hard. And entrepreneurs need to be really thinking about meaningful differentiation. Because like you can drive all the Facebook ads you want, but if your site has like no meaningful differentiation, you're wasting so much of that money. I used to work in sales. I was a sales guy and I was good, so they made me head of sales, and I was good, so they said, why don't you run our marketing as well? I was like, don't know anything about it, but sure, man. And then started doing SEO and PPC and so on. That was in 2006. So yeah, through promotion basically. This was actually it was kind of a chance, like I was doing CRO as one of my, because I was a freelance consultant, so I was doing CRO as one of my many things. Mainly I was focused on SEO and PPC, and then I wanted to start my own marketing blog. And already back then in 2011, there was a million marketing blogs, so how is this going to be different? And so basically I did research on which particular niches of marketing are not very competitive. And then back then there weren't very many conversion optimization blogs, and I said, sure, I'll do that. Well, that's the story. That was the conversion blog that I then started in 2011. In the beginning, it was just me blogging. It was like my personal blog, and then people wanted to start, buying services from me, and then building the agency came as an effect, or because of the blog, basically. Totally. Well, the main thing is that these are two separate companies, so separate teams, also separate legal entities behind the scenes. So while on the outside it's under the same CXL umbrella, they operate as independent, units with minimal to no overlap between the teams. So, and for me, I got tired of being a consultant. It's like, how many times can you explain the same stuff over and over again? So I switched to, I became like a CEO or a business person because I just didn't want to be a consultant anymore. I stopped having fun, and my personal growth slowed down, so I wanted a new challenge. And so then starting up CXL Institute gave me a new challenge, basically, new growth, new fun. Well, definitely more and more people are doing conversion optimization. Also, people call it different things, they might call it digital optimization or product, or any number of things. If you look at LinkedIn, how many people list doing conversion in their job description or title? I mean, it has grown dramatically. Yeah, obviously it's not anywhere near where SEO is, and probably won't be as well. But it's growing. It's getting more mainstream for sure. It's a good question. No? I mean, I could speculate, but who knows? I guess traffic is sexier, I guess. Yeah, probably. Where do I begin? Well, I mean, starts off with the value proposition, How can you, why buy from you as opposed to all these other sites, or especially Amazon, It's the biggest competitor for any e-commerce company. Like, do you have defensible brand? Because if you sell the same stuff as everybody else, it's increasingly harder. So besides the value proposition, obviously great user experience. I mean, this I could list 100 things here. I'm not sure what level of detail are you interested in.
However, you think that it's important for companies which are not that, let's say, focused on conversion rate optimization, and they don't have an internal team.
Yeah. Well, of course, it largely depends a lot on what you sell. Because basic things like product photography matters a lot. Product copywriting matters a lot. Not enough e-commerce marketers pay attention to copy. Because you can assume that some users are transactional. I know I need this thing, I'm going to go and buy it, and some people just need to be sold, So that, and of course the ease of checkout, do you have basic stuff like address autocomplete, set up, and really minimizing friction there, offering multiple payment options, including, your Apple Pay or checkout with Amazon, and all these things. Increasingly, when people are shopping on their phone, they don't want to take out the credit card, right? So they want to. How do you optimize for that? Even PayPal is good, for that. Yeah, well, I don't know why this is happening. I guess there's a logic that in order to grow, we need more customer, hence we need to drive more traffic. But I agree with you that if you look at the growth funnel, as I like to look at it, is typically the top of the funnel is imagined as more traffic, but I like to think of it as a flipped type of funnel where the most impactful and easiest and cheapest way to grow your business is to focus on retention. Focus on retention, focus on your value proposition. How can you give them certainty of success? Why would people have to be crazy not to buy from you? And then focusing on increasing the frequency of buying, increasing the average order value. All these things I would focus on before driving more traffic. Well, I think you can't really generalize that e-commerce companies are like this or like that. It really starts with the management. But if you look at any high growth e-commerce companies that have raised Series C and really scaling growth, they're all data driven. They're all they have a strong growth experimentation system, program, whatever you want to call it. We work at CXL Agency. We work with a lot of e-commerce brands that are, basically Series C companies. And so when we come in, they are very savvy about data, really good, growth programs. Like the mindset is there. So I think those are the companies that are winning, the data-driven companies. Yeah, I think it's like a subjective feeling thing, how, if you look back, let's say, think back 1 year ago, how much did you know then, and how you're now doing things differently? And if you're not doing things differently, or you feel, you look back, it's like, oh, I haven't changed anything, or haven't gotten any new insights, then you're not growing, you're just standing still, and standing still is falling behind. Well, sure. it's all research and experimentation, So personally, I've been on a health journey over the last 3-4 years. So I used to be, quite overweight and didn't care at all about my health, and some, let's say, dramatic life events happened that changed my mind about this. And so now I've been doing a lot of research into health and fitness, and then based on the research findings, running personal experiments on, let's say, what kind of diet is best for me, experimenting with eating different things and seeing how I feel, how my body reacts. Am I making progress towards the goals I have? Yeah. The possibilities. The possibilities are exciting. I'm in a privileged position where I can choose what I work on. We just started a new company called Copytesting, so I'm really excited about that. With CXL Institute, we have some crazy product experiments we're about to embark on, and it's all exciting stuff. Business is the funnest game you can play. Most impactful, building an audience and focusing on building an audience. I had a SaaS company that didn't work out and that I shut down in 2010, 2011. And then when I was doing like a post-mortem, like what went wrong and what did I learn from this experience, my key lesson learned was that next time around, I'm going to build an audience. And so that's what I did with CXL, and it's worked out great. So if you're using words to sell something, either on landing pages or whatever pages, if you're using sales copy and where you have a lot of it, like 500 words, 1,000 words, 2,000 words, then currently what is missing is analytics on that copy. Which parts of that copy are good, which are bad, and if I know what's bad, then what about it is bad? How can I optimize the copy? How can I make the copy better? So I would increase conversion rate through copywriting. So copytesting.com is built to solve this problem. It will tell you which parts of your copy suck and what's wrong with it, so you would know how to improve it.
And how does it achieve this?
So we, on the back end, so you submit whatever copy that you want data on, and we recruit people from your target audience, a minimum 20, who will read through your copy, and then they will mark each sentence, paragraph, headline. They will rate it as good or bad, and if they say it's bad, then what about it is bad? It's like jargon, it's unclear, I don't get it, it's boring. Yeah. And then have to write an open-ended comment on what makes it boring or what makes it bland. And so you have a mix of quantitative data, like 18 out of 20 said this block is bad, and then you have open-ended qualitative comments on what about it is bad, and so now you have data. Sure, I think AI or machine learning can do many things really well, like crunching through large data sets and drawing some conclusions based on that very, very fast. So things like I'm quite excited about like predictive analytics and then deep learners. So for instance, I think we recently did was we uploaded, we enriched our whole email list, some 135,000 people with Clearbit data, and marked who out of these 135,000 whatever have bought and what they bought, what did they buy, and then we gave it to a deep learner, and deep learner was looking at what are the similarities about the people who bought the thing, like in terms of like how big is the company, what is the revenue of the company, what is the title of the person who bought something, and then it told us which other people from our email list are going to buy, ranked by the order of priority or like probability, and also telling us which variables predict purchasing, which was things like has recently raised money. It was a good predictor that they will buy. Job title mattered, some types of companies that were a good fit. And the interesting thing was, as soon as we finished this analysis, maybe hours later, the lead that was predicted to buy with 99% probability just signed up. So like doing this type of analysis by hand, like humans would be able to do it, but would take a lot of work. For a deep learner, this was like minutes,
Yeah.
What would I tell a younger self? Start building an audience sooner. I could have started many years before. Also, be more ambitious. don't build an agency, build a scalable business sooner. I think I wasted, not waste, but I could have progressed much faster had I not started with an agency. It's just a hypothesis. Of course, running an agency and doing consulting is also a great way to learn, because you see the kitchen side of so many businesses.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I think business and capitalism is here to stay, and then it is inevitable that we want more growth. More growth. I don't see more growth being like an evil thing at all. I mean, it could be, but it doesn't have to be. It's we have companies doing good stuff. Brands creating positive social change in the world. So if those companies have more reach and impact, it's a good thing. So I'm pro growth.
You are pro growth, okay. So the question was around how sustainable is this current...
Well, are we talking about climate change here, or...
climate change?
Climate change for sure is an issue, and then like all the fossil fuel stuff, and then non-renewable resources, of course, is a topic. We're talking about building software products which have minimal to no impact on the environment. I don't see an issue here.
Yeah.
A tip for e-commerce: any mature category that has a lot of competition has a big problem of sameness. Companies are exactly like their competitors. There is no meaningful differentiation. There is no clear value proposition I'm not just talking about the website, but as a business, of like, why do business with us and not somebody else? And I used to think that being better is easier than being different, but now I don't think so anymore. I think being meaningfully different is actually hard, and entrepreneurs need to be really thinking about meaningful differentiation, because like you can drive all the Facebook ads you want, but if your site has like no meaningful differentiation, you're wasting so much of that money.